Shalom, welcome to Torah on One Foot. My name is Rabbi Nachman Simon. We're talking about six sessions, 6 minutes each, and you'll learn a whole idea of Lubavitcher Rebbe, Sicha, and a beautiful idea we're talking about, again, very, very briefly to get us a head start. We're talking, it says in Pirkei Avos, ethics of the fathers. 10 things were created right before Shabbos. And we said, why these 10 things? Well, these 10 things were miraculous. Adam was already created. We wanted to have him have a normal world when he was created, which he did have: sun, moon, stars, the animals, and the fish. But these 10 miraculous things he didn't really need when he came into the world. We talked about the manna from heaven, which was only Jewish people needed about 2,500 years later. The Ram of Avraham, 2,000 years later, and on and on. So many things were created right before Shabbos. And we said, why? What's with the Shabbos? Why right before Shabbos? Well, Shabbos is a miraculous event. It's a day of rest, which it's miraculous in the sense that it's many societies, many people today feel, oh, I'm going to do work on 7 days a week. Why do I need a day of rest? So it's something that's not, so to speak, natural, and it's not even maybe logical to people to take off a day of work. Many societies, even today, you have to work 7 days a week, or people think that they have to work 7 days a week. Shabbos is above everything, and these miracles, these creations were miraculous, and therefore created before Shabbos. Now, there's one more thing that the Pirkei Avos, the ethics of the fathers, say. Some say mazik and demons. Well, what do we need demons for? Well, the demons are there part of the creation, and there are negative forces in the world. And again, as we've been saying, man was created in the world to fix things up, to make things better. It's a beautiful world, but it's not perfect, and that is part of the perfection, that it gives the opportunity for human beings to make the better the world. And therefore, we're going to feel good about, hey, I had a hand in making this world better. I'm not just enjoying the world that God made. Hey, I had a part in it, and I made some part of it too. And therefore, I can super enjoy the world, because I can say, yeah, this world is a beautiful world. It's perfect. Of course, we have to wait for the Mashiach to come. So far, it's not perfect. But in any case, it's all part of the plan that a human being will feel good, that, hey, I took part in making the world better. But what are the demons for? The demons are negative things in the world, and there is Yetzer Hara, there's evil inclination, there are evil people in the world, and we know that, obviously, we don't have to point that out. On the other hand, a person's supposed to make the world better, emphasize the good in the world, and make more peace in the world, and bring people's lives to a betterment. That is part of our job as human beings. But the demons really have to be refined also. So it says, actually, it's an interesting Gemara, that the Gemara says that the demons in the future, again, when the Messiah comes, that they'll be refined and they won't harm. It just says also about the Vildachayas, I call them Vildachayas, the wild animals that right now, who needs a tiger? You know, they're going to harm you again if you're going to Africa or going to a zoo cage. Who needs them? But ultimately, that they will be refined and they won't harm anybody. And it's actually what the Rambam Maimonides says, when the Mashiach comes, the wolf will lie down with the lamb, that he's a wolf is going to... I actually have a little interesting story. I always have a story about everything. So I took my kids to Disney World down in Florida, and they showed, one of them is Animal Kingdom. So it was very interesting, and that they showed like these kind of deers, or I forgot, the different sort of deer that they were roaming around. And I could see in the back, there were lions way back there. So, you know, tour guide said there's these things, these nice deer. So I just actually raised my hand, only one who asked a question, and said, well, why aren't the lions eating them up? Says, well, if you look way in the back, she answered, there's an electrical fence in between, you know, right hand is the deer, right in front in the foreground, and the background were the lions, and there's a fence. Well, of course, you're not going to have a lion near a deer, and they're going to have a nice supper. but in any, obviously without that electrical fence. So this same thing, obviously, we're talking about. You're not going to have a wolf with a lamb just living together. The wolf's going to have himself a nice dinner. On the other hand, that it says when the Mashiach comes, the wolf will lie down with the lamb and they won't harm each other. But the Rambam Maimonides actually says it's an allegory because, you don't want to, you're going to live with the Nazis or evil people. They're going to harm you. You're going to walk in the middle of the bad neighborhood. I mean, maybe you won't be harmed, but maybe a good chance you could be harmed. What are you walking there in the middle of the night? But then ultimately that there'll be peace in the world and everybody will live with peace. And so, like we said, with the wild animals, so therefore it's brought down with these mazik and the demons. Not that they, obviously a demon harms, but on the other hand, that when the Mashiach comes, they won't harm. So, but where does that come from? You need Shabbos. That's why it was created right before Shabbos, is because Shabbos, when everything, we talked about this already, the idea, well, everything will be in perfection, and perfection means that nobody will be hurting each other, everybody will live at peace, and of course, everybody will have prosperity. There won't be any homeless people, there won't be any people that need food, that everything will be in a perfect world. So even the demons need a Shabbos, a higher light, in order to refine them. We cannot refine them. A man was created, says, I can't deal with demons right now in this world. But we have to wait for Shabbos, for the Mashiach, Messianic era, in order for them to come to a higher level. All right, so we're continuing on. We still have to answer why tongues were created right before Shabbos.